Do you want to jump in with your 13?
Yeah, and we hit him last. He was your number 12. It's Austin Eckler is my 13th guy. We won't hang on him too long. We'll just reiterate a couple things.
Yep.
He only played 9 games where he actually played last year in 2020, but his 16-game pace last year was very good. He would have had 206 rushing attempts, 942 yards, 5 total touchdowns, 115 targets, which is just golden. 96 receptions, 716 receiving yards. Would have put him at 302 total touches for 1,658 total yards last year. Total points, that would have been 4th if he played the whole season, but 15.1 points per game last year. That would have put him right around 11th. And weeks 12 through 17, when he came back, he was the RB8 in that stretch.
Yeah.
He was very good.
I mean, again, when you look at Austin Eckler, you're not drafting him to necessarily be just a running back. He's like a wide receiver at the running back position. I mean, it's all about those receptions.
Those rushing attempts, though, last year, if those would have paced out, that would have been a significant bump, though, from previous years.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. That's a good thing to keep in mind. And also keep in mind with Austin Eckler, the Chargers didn't go out and draft anybody either. Like we
not
kind of
significant. We talked about Larry Roundtree a little bit, but it's just Joshua Kelly, Justin Jackson, which rumors either one of them or both of them could be cut.
Yeah, so we know one of them definitely will. But yeah, so he's the guy is basically what we're chatting about. And my 13 is who you ended your last week with, was Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Okay.
So we're not going to spend, again, a ton of time on him, but just to reiterate, he's good. I mean, we're in the Chiefs office, first off. Just remember that if you drafted him where you probably did last year in that first round, maybe top 5, you're pretty upset with how he finished the season for sure.
Yeah, and I would understand why you wouldn't want to touch him at all.
And so I think there's some guys that are kind of like, oh, I'm out.
Yep.
But if you really go back and just look at his season, he did have a really good season. He just didn't have a 1.5 season.
No, yeah, and the touchdowns were a big problem. It was like week 1 last year. He had I believe 5 or 6 rushing attempts inside the red zone, on the goal line. Only converted for one of them for a touchdown, and the rest of the year, he really didn't see those opportunities again. So we're hoping on the touchdown efficiency to go up. The usage is going to be there. Weeks 1 through 12 last year, he was the RB11 at 12.5 points per game. So it kind of gets muddled. He got injured. It was a disappointing year, but he saw the workload. His receiving work can go up. I like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's like one of my favorite picks right now.
Yeah, and again, there's not really anybody that's threatening that job.
No.
So he's definitely going to be the guy, and he's in a very high-powered offense that has a lot of other talent. So they can't stack the box because there's great passing opportunity, and then they can't just, play zone back there because you got to watch out for the run. So it's going to be able to feed off of each other. And again, Chiefs are already looking at being Super Bowl contenders, so he should be fine. But okay, let's go ahead and jump into 14.
Yeah.
Who you got at 14? Because I feel like we're going to – there's a lot of – for me, there was 3 or 4 guys right here that and again, guys, I wouldn't really be upset if you kind of re-ranked some of these in a little bit different order because I do find them all very close.
Yeah, there's definitely a tier around here. But my 14 is Chris Carson.
Okay.
Who do you?
I got Cam Akers.
Okay, we'll talk about Chris Carson first because I got
Chris Carson right behind him, so it's fine.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Chris Carson. He played 11 games last year in 2020. His 16-game pace, though, would have been 205 rushing attempts, which would have been down, 990 rushing yards, 13 rushing touchdowns. Great number. That is a very good number. 67 targets. So that was a significant bump from previous years. 54 receptions, 417 receiving yards, 259 total touches, 1,407 total yards. Total points would have put him at 246 points and half PPR. That would have been 4th last year. That's factoring in a lot of guys would have been around there if they played 16 games.
Right.
And but 15.4 points per game last year was 11th in the league. Weeks 1 through 5, he started the season the RB5 through that stretch.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind that his injuries this past season,
that's why I have him at 14th. You're just not going to get a full season out of him. You're not going to get a full season out of most running backs. He does carry some risk, but you're in an offense with Russell Wilson. It's going to be efficient. Chris Carson is a great running back. He is much improved in the passing game. He's an actual threat in the passing game. He's going to get all the goal line work for this offense. He is their workhorse running back. Rashad Penny, still injured. Yeah. And
who cares?
We saw Travis Homer last year. We saw the other guys.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, the thing with Chris Carson for me is he would probably be in my top 12 if there wasn't this injury risk, and if, to me, this offense almost is kind of pass first.
Yeah.
So if Russell Wilson's wanting to throw the ball a lot, which is what he really wants to do, then Chris Carson's going to kind of lack a little bit unless, again, those targets go up, which they could.
Yeah.
I had Chris Carson on my team last year, and I can say that towards the end of the season, it was getting a little frustrating. Just because I felt like even though he was having good games, it wasn't games that like I really, really wanted. He finished 36th, 27th, and 30th.
Yeah.
And week 17 doesn't count.
But I mean, week 12's on. He gave you double-digit points except 1 week. So.
Well, 2 weeks. Weeks 15 and 16.
Okay.
But yeah. But still, it was a little frustrating. But again, he quietly still was an RB2 last year.
Also, his efficiency went up a decent amount, up to 4.83 yards per carry last year.
Yeah.
The dude is just a monster.
He
really is. He is really good.
We were talking about this last week, but if you guys haven't seen some of those pictures coming out of what was it? OTAs.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, like last year it was like Austin Eckler's picture. This year it's like Chris Carson's picture. Yeah.
Chris Carson and Mike Davis.
Dude's in shape.
So,
and yeah, I honestly like my 13 is Austin Eckler, my 14 is Chris Carson. Their 16 game paces, both of them last year, were very, very similar. They would have finished about the exact same place. I gave Austin Eckler the little bit of the bump just because I think that receiving work is a little bit more stable. And I do kind of see him as less of a injury risk. I think that's really close. You could take it either way, but Chris Carson just runs with a running style that just begs to get hurt sometimes. Like, it's awesome to watch, but it's a risky game.
Yeah. Well, and then keep in mind, that's why I feel like I have Chris Carson at 15, and I did give Cam Akers the bump ahead of him. He did play.
Yeah, let's talk about Cam Akers.
He did play 15 games last year. He did not start the season off well.
No, he did not.
We got to definitely preface
that. So Cam Akers
now.
is your 14.
I've got Cam Akers at 14.
Okay, he's my 17.
Okay, that's fine. I think the reason that I like Cam Akers is just pure opportunity. And
hopefully,
they got rid of Malcolm Brown, who was taking touches away.
Mm-hmm.
Darrell Henderson's not going to do that.
There are some reports that he might be the threat in the passing game. I mean, I've heard mixed reports about this.
I would hate that.
Yeah.
That would be the only thing you have to kind of worry about. But when you really look at his 2020 season, it's kind of almost a tale of two different seasons. But once he really got the bulk of the work, especially even in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I didn't factor in any of the playoff stuff into my rankings, that he was very good in the playoffs.
Yes, he was excellent.
Yeah.
Enough to where he basically would have been putting up close to 20 points, a game fantasy-wise. So I'm just kind of projecting that forward. I think Cam Akers in this offense, especially with the upgrade to Matthew Stafford, as long as he gets some targets, because I think, what did he have, like 20-something targets last season?
In his 4-game stretch that I'm pretty much just projecting out, because before that he wasn't really the main guy. In that 4-game stretch, he saw 11 targets. Not good.
Well, I don't think he saw that much. He only saw 14 on the season.
Exactly.
So I mean, again, his targets need to go up as far, and his receptions. And then he does need to get. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, you go.
Okay.
I want to hear everything you have to say about Cam Akers.
He does need to get a little bit better in the red zone. He had 5 red zone attempts and only took it to the house once. So kind of like Clyde Edwards-Helaire there, a little bit. He needs to get way more efficient in that red zone. So we'll kind of have to see if he'll be able to do that this year.
Cam Akers is I think he's the scariest player for me right now in drafts this year, and to look at and take in a draft, because he has that top 5-ish upside, but it could also go south. It can go south. In this 4-game stretch, he saw a ton of touches. He had 86 rushing attempts for only 340 yards. It's 3.95 yards a carry. That's just below average. That could go up a little bit, but yeah, those touchdowns. He had 1 touchdown in that 4-game stretch. 11 targets. He needs way more passing work.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take that 4-game stretch out to a 16-game pace, that would be 344 rushing attempts. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's
like Zeke Elliott, Derrick Henry type.
1,360 rushing yards for 4 touchdowns. Obviously, those touchdowns should go up.
Yep.
the target's 44. Could definitely go up.
Yeah.
But it could also stay right there.
Right.
344 receiving yards for 376 total touches. He's not seeing 376 total touches.
No chance.
That's a ton. For 1,744 total yards, that seems very high. Like I said, 3.95 yards per carry, that's fine. Last year, if he played 16 games, that would have put him at 212 points. That would have been 9th.
Yeah.
Some players missed, some players didn't play 16, obviously, but his points per game would have been 13.25, 17th last year.
Yeah. The thing is like you said, the biggest thing here, and I definitely agree with you that he could be kind of one or the other. What's weird, guys, is I have him ranked at 14. I have a feeling he's not going to be at 14. He's either going to be like way in that top 10.
Well, once you start factoring in wide receivers and everything, he's going mid-second.
Right. But what I'm saying is he's either going to be like top 10 or unfortunately he's going to be a back-end RB2. Like I kind of like that's where unfortunately I feel like it's going to happen.
I mean, he's got the talent. We've seen it, and he is a very capable receiving threat. If that gets that bump. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put Darrell Henderson out there, but that is definitely a possibility.
Yeah, I don't think they will, but again, we'll have to kind of wait and see. We never really know what Sean McVay is kind of cooking up, but I do know that.
Yeah. And I mean, Stafford is a guy who has throws to the running backs in the past, but he has also not really played on a team with this deep of a skill position talent.
Yeah, it's been quite a while, if ever.
Thank you for watching the Fantasy Monsters on YouTube. If you liked today's episode, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel below. We also have a merch store we want you to check out with all new gear that we've got available. That'll be in the description. Also, if you want to see any past videos, you can check that out as well. Thank you so much for watching the Fantasy Monsters. We'll catch you next time.
Have a good one.